What is going on, guys? Jason Brook here, Styles Clash for life, coming at you on YouTube, and tonight I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers just finished playing the Arizona Cardinals in Week 14 of the 2019 NFL season, and it was a game that was closer than it should have been. Pittsburgh came in pretty hot in the 6th seed, but having several teams, including Tennessee, right on their heels with the same record. Arizona came in not very impressively record-wise, but with the young, exciting Kyler Murray with the good feet and the ever-improving offense. Arizona's defense stinks, but their offense has been solid all season, keeping them in games, so it was a wonder to see how Pittsburgh would try to set the edge. I said in the beginning of the game, the keys to this game were getting pressure on Murray, making him very uneasy, and setting the edge and staying in your gap, staying at home so Murray could not run and bail himself out with his feet. And for the most part, I would say Pittsburgh did that. Not every time, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with that. The defense did get worn down by the high-tempo Arizona offense. Let me just kind of get to it right now. I have a lot to go over, so I'm just going to kind of jump over the summary and get to the stats here. Pittsburgh won this game 23-17, improving their record to 8-5 right now. Still sitting firmly in the 6th seed, and their game against Buffalo in prime time next week. They're playing for the 5th seed. Buffalo is one game ahead, but if Pittsburgh wins, they'll have the same record and have beaten them, so they'll be a game ahead of Buffalo. So Pittsburgh will have the 5th seed tiebreaker if they win next week. So big game coming up on the horizon with two pretty good teams. Pittsburgh, again, started the season 1-4 and has since gone 6-1. So you got to give a lot of credit to that situation. 6 of their last 7 games overall. Offensively, conservative game. We did score 23 points. A lot of that's field goals, and we got a touchdown on special teams. So the offense did not put up a whole lot of points today. Devlin Hodges, Duck, 16 of 19. Very efficient numbers, but only 152 yards passing. 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and then 5 carries for 34 yards. Duck overall played pretty well. Again, mistake-free football in terms of he threw the ball away when he had to. He didn't fumble. He did fumble once. His arm was hit, but it was recovered by the offense. So he didn't lose any fumbles, and he didn't throw any picks, and he didn't make any really bad decisions downfield. So credit for that. Again, 16 of 19, 152, and a touchdown with no picks is pretty solid. The 5 for 34 I'm very impressed by. Several times Hodges was looking downfield. He was going to different reads, and then he found gaps. He found either the outside was open or he had the middle of the field open, and he went and took off, and he got himself several first downs with his feet. He's got mobility over most of our other quarterbacks that have been on this roster this year, and I like seeing a smaller guy using his feet to get out of bad situations, especially when you're calling a pretty conservative game for him. I thought offensively we got into too much run-pass. We found ourselves doing a lot of running on first down and second down, setting up 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, and then trying to throw the ball and bail out on 3rd down. So I'm not really impressed with that. They did have Duck checking down a lot, as you can tell by the stats. But all in all, it wasn't a bad offensive game. It was efficient. It was solid. Run game didn't do a whole lot. Benny Snell leads the way with 16 carries for 41 yards. And Careth White ties with 5 carries for 41 yards. We used all 3 running backs, Snell, White, and Jalen Samuels. Samuels with a little more pass-catching stuff. Snell and White did more of the running. And then Duck Hodges as well ran the ball. So cumulatively, the running stats don't seem all that bad. But Benny Snell, again, just 16 for 41 yards. He only had 2.6 yards per carry in this game. And he fumbled the ball as well, which was a costly fumble that resulted, I think, in the first 3 points for Arizona. Pittsburgh was ahead, I think, 10-0, and then Benny Snell fumbled. Arizona got a field goal and then got back in the game because Pittsburgh slowed down after that. So costly turnover in this one for Snell. And again, 2.6 yards per carry. I say it every single week. He starts off really, really kind of rough, and then he middle of the 3rd quarter through the 4th is when he gets better. He didn't show as much burst later in the game this time, but he did kind of mid-3rd quarter. He extended with a long Pittsburgh touchdown drive where he made some plays, and again, he always keeps his legs moving and he always falls forward. So props to him on that. But this was not his strongest game. He didn't show as much burst later in the game. All in all. I really like Careth White Jr. I got it once again. Careth White and Deon Cain were 2 guys signed off practice squads. Careth White off Chicago's practice squad and Deon Cain off of Indianapolis' practice squad. And people were like, who the hell are these guys? Why are you signing these guys? You're signing young guys that never really got any NFL experience. They're on the practice squad for a reason, and I was right along with those guys. I was saying, why aren't you signing Eli Rogers? Why aren't you looking at other guys, that could be bigger help, like Jay Ajayi or Terrell Pryor? But these two guys have been playmakers. I mean, Careth White, 5 carries, 41 yards. That's 8 yards a carry. I mean, he's got to get more carries. He's showing more speed and more elusiveness than any of the other guys on this roster. Edmonds doesn't show much to me. Jalen Samuels had a couple of good catches today for runs, but doesn't do much running the ball. And Snell, again, waits till third, fourth quarter to get going. So I think Careth White showing some moves to break some tackles and showing some speed that nobody else on this roster has. 5 for 41. You got to get this guy more carries. Give this guy 10 carries next week and see what he can do. Take a few carries off of Samuels and off of Edmonds and see if White can do more of the load as the change of pace back behind Snell until Connor gets back. Receiving the ball, biggest game ball of the day on offense goes to Deontay Johnson. What a bounce back game he's had. He was under fire recently. People were saying he's not returning the ball in the return game well. He gave up on a play last week that resulted for an interception. But I thought he bounced back very nicely as the leader today. 6 catches for 60 yards and a receiving touchdown. Also an 80-plus yard punt return touchdown. Also a end-around rush for 16 yards. So he did a lot in this offense today. Again, finally, a special teams touchdown. The curse is over. Finally, a punt return, 80-plus yards. Deontay breaks tackles, reverses field, finishes the play, looks excellent on this 80-plus yard punt return touchdown. On the 6 for 60, again, Deontay caught a nice short out pass in the corner of the end zone, secured the ball for a nice touchdown. He had a short, almost a screen style pass. It was just a regular out, quick pass that he reversed field, broke about 7 tackles, and turned around into a 15 or 20 yard gain there, and then also had a 16-yard end around play that could have been broken. So running the ball, returning the ball, and receiving the ball, Deontay gets in the end zone twice and makes the difference for us on the offense. Thank you, Deontay, for this bounce back game. He needed it. He was due after the last 3 weeks of kind of being out of it. He had as many yards today receiving as he had all in the last 3 weeks combined. Excellent job for him. Otherwise, not a whole lot receiving-wise to speak about. Good getting Marquise Pouncey back. James Washington, I think, had maybe 40 yards receiving. They didn't give him many targets. He didn't have many chances. He did get 2 downfield targets, and both resulted in pass interference plays. So I said it last week that you have to get Johnson more downfield stuff. He catches contested, and he draws penalties. And again, both deep shots today, he drew penalties. But other than that, I think he had like 4 catches for 40 yards or something like that. Didn't really use him as much coming off of his 3 hottest games of the year, or 4 hottest games of the year. I think he should have gotten more targets, but he did get a few third down catches, and he did get a couple of pass interference calls. And Deon Cain only got 1 target today, but he made the most of it. It was a 22-yard catch downfield. So once again, when they let Duck release a little bit and they actually let him throw up some balls and give his guys a chance to catch, again, everyone is getting involved. Deontay's getting catches downfield. Johnson's drawing penalties. Deon Cain has a really good rep now. I think he's got like 6 downfield targets, 4 catches, and 2 penalties. You got to give this guy more targets as well. He's a lot better than a Johnny Holton or even a Tevin Jones. So give our guys more of a chance. Let's call a little less conservatively and give Duck more of a chance to get down the field, because when he does, he's pretty decent. He makes pretty solid throws. And he's using his feet more now. So I think he's coming together mentally. He's starting to really find himself. I just hope that Fiechner can allow him to get downfield a little more, because when he does, he hits. Defensively, again, 17 points to the Cardinals. Not super impressive, but also not terrible. 17 is kind of our mark, is what we usually do. Joe Hayden, 2 interceptions. Big day for him, jumping a route nicely early on and then getting the game-sealing pick late in the game, last play of the game, 2 weeks in a row. He sealed the game with a pick for us. He played pretty well today. Interception for TJ Watt in the end zone. That could have been a touchdown for Arizona. That was a big momentum-swinging play. So 3 turnovers for us today. Really good stuff there. Watt just is the best player we have on defense. Hayden's gotten better and better, especially in the past 3 weeks. Good seeing him come around now with 5 picks in his last, 3 games, I think. Sacks. Mark Barron 1, Vince Williams 1, Cam Hayward 1, and Bud Dupree 1. Dupree played great. Lots of pressure. like 3 or 4 times he had Kyler in his sights and just missed him, but got good pressure. Did get a sack in this game. Also, a couple times on outside runs, he held the edge and chased and kept up with speed with Murray and forced him outside, so he didn't get any big runs, so he set the edge nicely. Good job for him there as well. All the linebackers got pressure, including Bush. The one thing I want to talk about here, again, Arizona did have that fast-paced tempo offense that made us tired and gave up 2 touchdowns. But Jordan Berry, I wrote down here a note, Jordan Berry WTF, question mark, question mark. What was that? What in the 7 layers of hell was that play? We're up by 10 points in the fourth quarter, about to pin Arizona deep. Jordan Berry receives the punt, looks like he has a clear lane to go punt, and starts to run and gets tackled, gets smashed by 2 guys in about 3 yards. Fumbles the ball, Arizona recovers anyway, it's 4th down, doesn't matter. But Arizona recovers like on our 30-yard line and easily goes down for a touchdown and changes the game. We could have been up 10 with them deep in their own territory, making them use clock and possibly trying to score, instead of giving the ball to them on our 30-yard line. Why would you run that? There's no receivers down there. There's no blocking ahead of you. I don't know if that was called by somebody or if Jordan Berry went in business for himself. The announcer said that it was not a design play, that Berry tried on his own, but I've never seen a punter try an audible before. But if this was called by a coordinator when there's no blocking and no receivers downfield in our own territory, when we're up by 10 in the fourth quarter, then whoever the coordinator is should be sold on eBay for a chicken sandwich. And if that was Jordan Berry, the punter, suddenly thinking he's Peyton friggin' Manning and trying to audible and go into business for himself, again, situational football, 4th down, in your own territory. You just came off a 60-plus yard punt, the best of your season. You're playing well. We're ahead by 10. You can pin them deep. And you suddenly run and 2 guys smack you within 3 yards? If that happened, if that was Jordan Berry trying to be Peyton Manning, he needs to be taken back to Tomlin's locker room, bent over Tomlin's knee, and spanked until his ass is so red he can't sit down. You don't make bonehead mistakes like that. The fumble was bad too from Snell, but we're going to forgive that. That was just a play that happens in football. The punter trying to run and tuck the ball on 4th and 10 makes no damn sense whatsoever, and whoever called that, whether it's Berry or the coordinators, need to be held accountable and screamed at from now until next Sunday, because that was ridiculous and it almost cost us the game. And again, with Tennessee winning, that could have cost us our season. We'd have been out of the playoffs with a loss here. That could have cost us. Arizona went back and scored a touchdown and made it a 3-point game until the very end. So this game was way closer than it should have been. Our defense was a little winded, but overall, again, bottom line, Deontay played great. The defense got turnovers and held Murray in check when it counted, got the sacks we needed, and we are now 8-5, heading to Buffalo next week in prime time to play for the 5th seed. Winner gets the 5th seed in this game, so we're playing for that right now. Pittsburgh's looking pretty good as far as the wild card goes. What did you guys think of this game? Who were you impressed by and what didn't you like? Obviously, you didn't like that stupid-ass punt play. Tell me in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys with Football Focus next Sunday night. Thank you.